I'm Rich McPhee, and I'm joined here today by our resident CX expert, Martin Korner. So Martin, I hear lots and lots about this term, customer experience, this, customer experience, that. It's everywhere. Could you help us break down what exactly customer experience is, and more importantly, why it matters to most of the organizations in business today?
The customer experience has obviously always been important, so why is that any different now? I think the reason that it's so important now is because it's extremely easy for customers to find out how good a company's customer service is.
Yeah, no, it's a great point though, right? So the first thing you do now when you actually search for a new company is you put their name in Google. My generation certainly would look at Google. Some others would go to TikTok, you told me about earlier. And one of the first results that comes up is a star rating next to them on multiple star rated websites. So yeah, that's a great point and great insight that their experience rating is accessible, and I guess that bleeds into some of the research I've seen as well from top research companies, which is that the top 5 reasons an organization would buy are also the top 5 reasons a customer would leave an organization. So top 5 being the experience of others and peer reviews and feel of value they've received from that company, and the inverse is the personal experience of loss, etc., and bad experience, and they would actually leave. So it does make sense that it's a big driver for sure.
No, exactly, and those experiences stick with you, don't they? You know, where you've been really frustrated by a company, you've not been able to take a product back for a refund, or you've just been bounced around different departments, you've not been able to get the result you wanted. You just remember that, and you'll tell your friends about it, and you'll avoid going back to that company in the future. So yeah, I think it's a really important area.
So certainly, from a customer experience perspective, a more personal note, there's certain things that I would expect personally when I interact with an organization, and I'm not really that bothered about how fast they're going to deal with a phone call, but being able to contact them at the right time when suitable for me is great. Do you know what? There's nothing more frustrating for me than phoning up an organization and them saying, I'm sorry, but our office hours are 9 till 5, and this is something that I've been waiting in a call queue for an hour on. Some of the best experiences I've had from customer experience are actually dealing with the likes of WhatsApp, where it's an asynchronous communication. I deal with it over the period of actually probably 24 to 48 hours. I don't mind that. I just don't have to be stuck on a call. So scenarios like that are actually fantastic. And not only that, it's from start to finish, where whenever I actually start the interaction and transaction and the inquiry, all the way through, and there's some great feedback. So I guess that's what I would like as a customer from an organization perspective. What are the kind of things they should be thinking about when implementing it?
I think that's exactly the right way to approach it. So rather than thinking from a business perspective, how do we reduce our average handle time, or how do we improve this KPI? So thinking, if I was a customer of my own service, what is it that I'd expect at every step of that journey? And it's not just when you've got a problem and you have to phone the contact center. It starts right at the start of that journey. So what opportunities are there to self-serve? Are there things on the website? Are there things on the app that you can do yourself as a customer? Because often customers want to handle it themselves. They don't want to have to get in touch with somebody all the time. Then there's the automation. So when you do phone up, or when you do go on the web chat, are there steps that you can help yourself? There might be a chatbot which helps you. There might be you might be able to find your delivery status from typing in your order number, for example. Then there's a step where you get through to the agent and how they can help you and make sure they give you a good experience. Then there's the follow-up. So any follow-up actions, anything where they need to send you information afterwards, and making sure that does happen, or any follow-up actions if there's a case being opened. And then I guess an extra one is proactive communications as well. So if there's an outage in your area, having contact sent out to you before you have to phone up with the issue, just to let you know your water's going to be off for the next 3 hours. We're aware of it. We're fixing it. Reply to this message if you want to still speak to someone about it. So all those areas are all different parts of the CX journey, and I think all as important. And they all need to work together.
So that's really interesting then. Everything you've just described there is really putting the customer at the heart of the planning and all those touch points on the journey when the organization is actually thinking about how to implement the CX. So I think you could potentially put that into a box of customer centricity, which is another one of these buzzwords that flies about, isn't it? Yeah, so it's quite nice having that customer centric approach, building your service around them, their needs, their communications. So it's one thing approaching this from a kind of what technology and tools and systems and processes you need to do, but I mean, what's really the key to a successful CX in an organization? How do you embed that customer centricity mindset and get everyone firing in the same direction?
The key thing here is making sure that the team who are building these solutions, or the team that are buying these solutions, understand that this is a key objective for the organization. So they need to have the buy-in from management that the time they're spending focusing on the customer is valuable time, and they can make decisions around that, and they'll build a good customer-centric journey around that. But they just need that buy-in first of all. I think that's the main thing.
So you're saying that the teams that will be tasked with doing it just need the support and sponsorship from the exec level, where we don't need the CEO to be manning the phones and getting in there, but they do need to understand what their CX strategy is and how it impacts their own strategic objectives and goals of the organization for growth, which, to be honest, we see that a lot in a lot of the annual reports, etc., that we read as well. So we are seeing that come through very, very prominently now. So it's good to see that you're seeing the same things. So that's good from the senior management and the building, but how can you get the rest of the team in the business? Because, it takes a village to raise a child and all that jazz. So, how do you get the entire organization focused in on a customer experience and that customer-centric view?
It can be difficult because sometimes teams have their own KPIs, which might be things like average handle time. It might be things like contacts per order, for example. And those are great KPIs, but they can't be the main focus. If you focus on the customer experience side of it first of all, so when you're tackling problems, you're looking from the customer experience perspective, you'll eventually achieve those KPIs anyway. But if you focus directly on the KPIs, you'll probably start going down the wrong solutions. So you'll be really focused on just, how do we get customers off the phone quicker? That's not a good customer experience. Whereas if your software is in the right place, if you've got the right tool in for the agent's going to deal with that customer faster anyway, because they're not going to be spending time waiting for things to load or updating the details in 8 different systems. So ultimately, you're going to achieve your KPIs, but I think you have to have that focus on CX and really drive that.
That's a great point. It's been one of these things that I've had to learn the wrong way in business, which is people live and die by their KPIs, right? And they've always got unintended consequences. And just like you're saying there, if you give them a measurement of how fast can you get a customer off the phone, are they going to really deliver a great experience? Probably not. So, I mean, I've seen many approaches to people trying to nail down their customer experience and how they're going to approach it. And the general way that we've always done this is we'll go with what's available on the market, right, in terms of the tooling that's out there, because these are tools built specifically to deliver CX. So why would that be a bad thing, just going and choosing some market-leading companies that have built business around creating customer experience tooling and adopting what they have?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more to it than just choosing the technology and just pressing on with it from that perspective. You really need to look at what your specific needs are as an organisation. What are the specific problems that you're trying to solve? What are your goals and objectives as an organisation? And work through it from that perspective. The technology is just a way of solving those problems. And as long as you've got enough flexibility within that technology to solve problems that you've got today, but also problems that you're going to have in the future, and you can build up on it, make sure you get enough data out of that technology, make sure you can integrate with different tools that you're using. As long as it's something with that level of flexibility, then really that's further down the line. That's a step much further in the process. But first of all, it's identifying what those problems are, what your business needs are. And it's going to be different for different businesses. It's not a one size fits all.
No, that's a really interesting point you said there about getting your business priorities and requirements right. But where would they come from if every business is different? And you've said that some people fall into this trap about let's reduce the handling time so we can reduce our OPEX, etc. But how does that work with customer experience? How do you know what your business requirements are around customer experience, and how do you get them?
Yeah, so I think that the one thing that ties all the organisations together that we work with is customers. They've all got those customers that they're trying to serve, whether, it might be in sales, it might be supporting customers in various different ways. There might be a help desk, but the customer is the one common thing between all of those. It's looking at how you want to support those customers and what those customer needs are, and then how you can deliver those as a business.
Wow, bringing it all back to customer centricity, huh? How does a customer want to be interacted with, deal with you, and then building your supporting systems and tools around it and your problem statements and requirements? I think that's a great way, maybe a good point to wrap up on in terms of what is it you need to put in place. Customer centricity, senior stakeholder buy-in, and then selecting the tooling much further down the line once you've got a really great handle on what you're trying to achieve. Well, thanks very much, Martin. It's been a real pleasure again.
Cool. Thanks, Richard.
Cheers.